I got started in cross-country running kind of by accident. I remember my best friend in elementary school would be chosen to go run cross-country meets for the school. And I'd always be so jealous that she got to go miss school for a day and go run cross-country. And so I remember asking, I think it was in grade 6 or 7, if I could go too. And that was my first cross-country race experience, and I was awful, but I got out there and just really enjoyed it. In high school, I started going to the OFSA World Championships for cross country, and I think my first year I was, 50-something at OFSA, and by the time I graduated high school, I was winning OFSA. So just that kind of determination and perseverance to keep going, and maybe never being the most talented kid, but trying and loving it, and I think at the end of the day, that paid me so much service. So I got involved in the sport of triathlon when I was about 14 years old. It supplemented my running and my entire time at University of Guelph when I was there. And I was kind of still playing soccer, I was still running a bit, I was doing triathlon. And I remember sitting down with my coach at the time in a Starbucks in Ottawa. And he was asking me what my goals were in triathlon, what I wanted to accomplish. And I kind of said, I'd really love to make the national team, and I'd really love to go to world championships. And I was like, one day it'd be really cool if I went to the Olympics. Like that would be something cool. And he said, that's not good enough. You have to want to win the Olympics. And that was honestly a massive switch in my brain where it was the first time I started to believe in myself that not only could I go to the Olympics, but I could place really well. And I think just having that shift in mentality that you have that ability in sport makes you really believe and work that much harder towards it, and it becomes a focus. The Olympic Games is an entirely different experience from anything else. Actually being in the Olympic Village and walking around and realizing you're in the top 1% of athletic humans in the world is a pretty incredible feeling. And being on the start line in the Olympic Games and knowing that as a 16, 17-year-old I had kind of decided to commit however much time it required to getting there was an incredibly empowering feeling. And I think the highlight for me was honestly, I'd been training with Flora Duffy, who eventually won gold in Tokyo. And I went to go find her at the end of the race. And this is someone that I had watched for years dedicate themselves to the sport of triathlon and to training and be so diligent. And knowing what she had been through and just the preparation, and then seeing her at the finish line and her giving me a massive hug and thanking me for all the time that I put in with her, being her training partner, was one of the best feelings in the world. And I think I got so much more out of that than had I won a medal, because I was just so happy for her. I always knew that I wanted to finish my degree, and school has always been extremely important to me. Education has always been extremely important to me. I think COVID was honestly a blessing in disguise because it made me start to have those thoughts about going back to school. And I got in touch with Melindy about potentially coming back and finishing my degree. And she was so encouraging, and just, she was so excited for me. And it made the world of a difference.
Having Joanna join the team last year was such a huge plus for our team, and not only in the sense of performance, but just in what she brings, her leadership skills, her energy, I think really created a lot of momentum, and I think that we're going to see the legacy of what she has brought in, hopefully for years to come.
Running with the heat has been fun. I think so often we forget that sport is supposed to be fun, and I think when you are competing at such a high level for so many years, you lose that part of it. So coming back to Run for the Heat was honestly one of the best decisions I've ever made. You have to balance school and training and relationships and do well at all of them. And I think that it's just been amazing to be able to be a student and an athlete at the same time and have a university that respects that. And I think there's so many badass ladies here, and we just need to celebrate each other. And I think there's just more to come. There's always more to come. There's no limits, and that's a really exciting part about being a female athlete with the heat.